What if I told you that one of the greatest goalkeepers in football history owes his international career to a broken bottle of aftershave? It sounds crazy, I know. But this is a story of impossible moments of destiny and of a legend who was forged in the most unexpected fires. This is the story of Iker Casillas, and it's one you won't want to miss. Stick with us through this incredible journey, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you never miss a legendary tale from the beautiful game. The year is 1999, the grand stage of the Champions League. As Real Madrid prepares to face Olympiacos, a hush falls over the dressing room. A name is called an unfamiliar one, a boy, really. He's just 18 years old, his face a mixture of terror and steely determination. He's about to become the youngest goalkeeper ever to play in a Champions League match. That night, the ball would find the back of his net 3 times. A harsh lesson, a baptism by fire that felt like a failure. But that night was not a true reflection of the man he would become. Because that boy, Iker Casillas, was destined to become the goalkeeper with the most clean sheets in the history of the very competition that had just humbled him. For the rest of that season, something clicked. The boy grew into a man between the posts. He cemented his place as Real Madrid's #1, a commanding presence behind a defense of superstars. He was no longer a nervous teenager. He was a guardian. He stared down the giants of Europe, shutting out the likes of Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and even the eternal rivals Barcelona. The saves were piling up, the confidence was soaring, and Real Madrid marched relentlessly towards the Champions League final. There against Valencia, they were imperious. A dominant 3-0 victory, and as the confetti rained down there was Casillas, just a kid in his very first professional season lifting that iconic trophy. It was a fairy tale beginning. The next season, he added a La Liga title to his name, the first of his career, even as the Intercontinental Cup and European Super Cup slipped up through Madrid's grasp. The 2001-2002 season, however, would be a true test of his character. After a brilliant start, the unimaginable happened. Casillas, the hero of the Champions League, the wonder kid, found himself on the bench. Match after match, he watched from the sidelines as Cesar Sanchez took his place. It was a humbling, frustrating period. Have you ever been at the top of your game only to be suddenly cast aside? Imagine being in his shoes, benched for months. Then suddenly, in the biggest game of the season, destiny calls your name. What do you think was going through his mind in that moment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Because in the Champions League final, fate intervened once more. Cesar Sanchez went down, injured. The call came. Casillas had to go on cold into the cauldron of a European final. In that moment, with the world watching, he didn't just play. He put on a masterclass. He became a wall, making a series of breathtaking saves that single-handedly protected Madrid's lead and secured another Champions League trophy. It was a statement. It was redemption. This triumph propelled him onto the international stage. He was meant to be Spain's second-choice keeper for the upcoming World Cup, a backup to the established Santiago Cañizares. But then one of the most bizarre accidents in football history changed everything. In the team hotel, Cañizares was shaving when he dropped a bottle of aftershave. It shattered on the floor, and a stray shard of glass sliced a tendon in his foot. Just like that, his tournament was over. It seemed like a disaster for Spain, a stroke of terrible luck. But for Casillas, it was a door swinging wide open. And he didn't just walk through it, he kicked it down. He saved 3 penalties in a nail-biting shootout against the Republic of Ireland. Then against South Korea, he produced a save so spectacular that FIFA still ranks it among the top 10 of all time. Though Spain would eventually fall to South Korea on penalties, a legend was born in that tournament. The Spanish fans had a new name for him, San Iker, Saint Iker. Back in Madrid, he carried that momentum, winning the European Super Cup, the Intercontinental Cup, and another La Liga title. The next few years were a period of rebuilding for Real Madrid. The standout moment for Casillas was a disappointing group stage exit at Euro 2004 as Portugal and surprise winners Greece advanced. But by 2006, things were looking up. He was at the World Cup again, even captaining the side in 2 matches. The following season, he led Real Madrid to a long-awaited La Liga title after 3 barren years, a massive moment of relief and joy for the club, even as Champions League glory remained elusive. They defended their league title the next season, and then Casillas left for another international tournament, one that would change Spanish football forever. Euro 2008. Spain arrived with a team brimming with talent, and after cruising through their group, they entered the knockout stages. This is where Casillas became more than a goalkeeper. He became a titan. He was immense, a fortress that could not be breached. He did not concede a single goal in the entire knockout phase. Against Italy in a tense quarter-final shootout, he stared down Daniele De Rossi and Antonio Di Natale, saving both of their penalties with an aura of invincibility. It was an iconic performance, the bedrock upon which Spain built their triumph, ending a 44-year drought and claiming their first European championship. That performance earned Casillas a 4th-place finish in the Ballon d'Or, behind only Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and his teammate Fernando Torres. This was the start of something legendary, not just for Casillas, but for an entire nation. We cover these incredible golden eras and the legends who defined them all the time here on the channel. So if you love these stories, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. With Spain now assembling one of the greatest national teams in history, Casillas' club career, ironically, took a back seat in the narrative. It was a strange time. Real Madrid were signing superstars like Ronaldo, Benzema, and Kaká to build a new team of Galacticos, desperately trying to counter the dominance of a Barcelona side that paradoxically formed the core of Spain's success. Of course, Madrid icons like Sergio Ramos and Casillas himself were just as crucial to that national team's spine. But the biggest prize was still to come. South Africa 2010. The World Cup. The tournament followed a familiar heart-stopping script. Spain navigated their group and then began a nervy march through the knockout stages, winning every single game by a razor-thin 1-0 margin. Their success was intrinsically linked to the man in goal. Once again, Casillas was superhuman. He did not concede a single goal throughout the entire knockout stage. He saved a crucial penalty against Paraguay in the quarterfinals. And in the final against the Netherlands, he produced one of the most iconic saves in World Cup history, denying Arjen Robben in a one-on-one situation that every Spanish fan will remember for the rest of their lives. He had tied the record for the fewest goals ever conceded by a winning keeper. He was a world champion. If this story of triumph against all odds gave you chills, share it with a fellow football fan who needs to hear it. Back at club level, things were finally looking up for Real Madrid. They reached the Champions League semi-finals several times, won the Copa del Rey twice, and stormed to the La Liga title in the 2011-2012 season. But yet again, it was the Spanish national team that would provide the crowning glory for Casillas. At Euro 2012, the team arrived amidst whispers of internal tension, a locker room divided by the fierce rivalry between the Real Madrid and Barcelona players. Casillas stepped up, not with his gloves, but with his leadership. He was a fundamental force in easing those tensions, a unifying figure who was rightly praised by the media for his diplomacy. That accomplishment looked even more significant as Spain went on to win the tournament, becoming the only team in history to win 3 consecutive major international titles. Casillas was once again unbelievable. A giant between the posts, conceding only 1 goal in the entire tournament and none in the knockouts. He broke records for most minutes without conceding, and most clean sheets. It was simply breathtaking. But after every peak, there can be a valley. After the euphoria of 2012, Casillas' world began to crumble. Problems with manager Jose Mourinho saw him shockingly dropped. Then, just as he regained his place, a serious injury sidelined him. Real Madrid signed Diego Lopez to replace him, and for 238 agonizing days, Casillas was on the outside looking in. His first start back from injury lasted just 15 minutes before he was hurt again. For the rest of the season, he was in and out of the team, playing only in the most important matches. Yet despite his lack of rhythm, he was incredible. He led Real Madrid to another Copa del Rey, and most importantly, to another Champions League final. It was the final for La Decima, the club's obsession, their 10th European crown. Against city rivals, Atletico Madrid, they conceded early. The clock ticked and hope began to fade. The 90 minutes were up. But then, in the 93rd minute, a corner, a perfect delivery, and a towering header from Sergio Ramos. Equalizer. The stadium erupted. Atletico were broken. In extra time, Real Madrid ran rampant, winning 4-1. Casillas, the captain who had been through hell and back, lifted the trophy that his club craved more than any other. He stayed for one more season, reaffirming himself as the number one even as Keylor Navas was signed. He won the European Super Cup and the Club World Cup. But after that season, his time at Madrid came to a controversial end. He left for Porto, and many accused Real Madrid of forcing him out of not giving a true club legend the farewell he deserved. His own parents told the media he was being pushed out. It was a sad, messy divorce. At Porto, he found a quieter life, battling to help the club regain the Portuguese title. He finally succeeded in 2018. The following season was going smoothly until May 1st, 2019. During a routine training session, the unthinkable happened. Iker Casillas suffered a heart attack. The football world held its breath. He was discharged a few days later, a survivor. He spent one last season with the squad training, striving to play one last game. The Porto fans, unlike the Madrid hierarchy, embraced the legend. They cheered his recovery. They started a hashtag begging for him to play one last time so he could be crowned a champion again. It never happened, likely for the sake of his health. A few months later, Iker Casillas, San Iker, announced his retirement. A legend of the game, a man who had won everything, was hanging up his gloves. And that's where this incredible football story concludes. What a journey, right? I'm so eager to hear your thoughts. What moment stood out to you the most? Did this player's struggle resonate with you? Please share all your opinions, your favorite moments, and any questions you have in the comments below. I truly love reading them and building this amazing football community with all of you.